Coming up November 21st and 22nd, 2025, at the Silverton Casino is the 2025 Las Vegas Barbecue Jackpot, with 94 teams and from 17 states and our neighbors to the North, Canada, competing for a $20,000 prize purse. The public is invited to walk around, meet the teams, and taste some of the best barbecue anywhere. There will also be barbecue demos and activities. We are thrilled to have one of the participants in this tremendous competition, Kevin Tatgenhorst of GenerationQ BBQ competition team. In his day job, Kevin is VP of Business Development for NX Restaurants. NX Restaurants is leading the next revolution in restaurant technology, and we welcome to baseball and BBQ Kevin Tagenhorst. Welcome, Kevin.
Hey,
Welcome,
thanks,
Kevin.
Jeff. Hey, Leonard, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So
Absolutely.
it's our pleasure. So, Kevin, before we turn the mics on, we were pleasantly surprised to find out that not only are you a barbecue aficionado, which we'll get right to,
Sure.
but you also are a baseball fan, and behind you is the Seattle Toronto
Yeah,
Blue Jay game going on. So we know you're a fan, but you mentioned that you are originally a Chicago White Sox fan.
that is correct. Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm originally from the south side of Chicago. My family, majority of the people in my family are north side Chicago. So a lot of conflict around Christmas time when you're opening up your gifts and you're getting your Chicago White Sox swag and everyone else is getting Cubs gear, you know. So a little bit of rivalry growing up. Of course, not to age myself, I'm 47. So I grew up with being a huge Frank Thomas fan, Robin Ventura, Jack McDowell, Bo Jackson when he was there, Ruben Sierra. So those were some fun teams, late 80s, early 90s that the White Sox had.
Yeah, fun teams, but like us as Met fans, most of the time you have to deal with disappointment.
Yeah, that comes with being a Chicago sports fan in general. Of course, you can take out the 6 of the 8 years that the NBA champion Chicago Bulls
Of course.
dominated. Well, actually, the Blackhawks were pretty successful too. They had won 4 Stanley Cups in a 6 year span too, or 8 year span, or something like that. So, but as
And you
far as
had
football and baseball is concerned, yeah, it's not very much.
well, you had the Bears back in the 80s
You one year, one year.
with
Yeah, that was
with the
a
fridge.
yeah, 15-1 that year, lost to the Dolphins, beat the Patriots 46-10 in the Super Bowl 20. And I still talk about that one to this day. And, it seems like I run into a lot of Packer fans all the time. And their thing to me is always, oh, you've only won one Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, but we won 6 NFL championships. How come those aren't counted, right?
Right.
That's what it was
Mhm.
called before it was called the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
So they're still world champion,
Yeah, yeah.
So, uh,
So let's get to some barbecue. So tell us about this 2025 Las Vegas BBQ jackpot. This is the
yeah.
second time it's being a second annual one they're having now.
It is. It is. Yeah, and it's going to be a huge one. Obviously, Christy Vanover, if anyone knows who she is,
We do.
from Girls Can Grill,
Hmm.
a Grandmaster, Championship, Pitmaster, doing all kinds of great things. And she was really the driving force in getting the first one out here at the Silverton Bass Pro Shops. And it was such a success last year. I think it was 75 teams from 14 different states, and it was just a massive competition. I unfortunately had to pull out last minute. I became ill. Uh, Unfortunately, it was like crazy timing. I became ill right before the competition. So I wasn't able to compete, and I was very disappointed. So once this one, became active to register, I was jumping on it like crazy. And it is a KCBS sanctioned event.
Okay.
Lots of ancillary prizes, like for instance, they're going to be doing turkey and appetizers and desserts and so forth. And standard KCBS is chicken, pork, ribs, and brisket,
Right.
which is what all the teams will cook.
Okay.
But it's going to be a fantastic event. It's not going to be too cold. It's going to be November 21st, so we should still have some really nice weather here. And it's going to be an awesome event. I can't wait to compete against the best.
Yeah, looks like there are 96 teams right now
Yeah,
if you go on the website, so that's quite a jump from last year.
yeah,
Okay, so you're originally a Chicagoan. Now
correct.
you're
Yep.
a transplant to Las Vegas.
Well, actually, I the family moved to in the 80s. We moved to Long Beach, California.
Okay.
So pretty much most of my childhood, I grew up in Long Beach, California. And
Okay.
then when I became of age to go to school, I went to school at UNLV as a hospitality management major. I had worked in restaurants since I was 16 years old. Always had a passion for hospitality, food and beverage, and then worked at the Hard Rock Hotel under Peter Morton, which is one of the original founders of the Hard Rock Cafe. Worked there for some years and found my way back to Southern California, and then found my way back to Las Vegas. So it's an interesting timeline of my life. But yeah, my family's here. We love it. My dad is since retired and moved out here as well, who's part of my barbecue competition, hence the name GenerationQ, being that, my dad at the top and then myself. And I have a 4-year-old daughter who is actually, I'm training to be in what's called the Kids Queue.
Hmm.
So a lot of these barbecue competitions now are doing Kids Queue competitions. She's not ready yet, but she's getting pretty close.
Oh yeah. Come
uh,
on.
yeah,
Come on. She's 4.
yeah, she's 4 years old, and but she helped me a lot in a competition for the Nevada Barbecue Association, which is a nonprofit out here in Las Vegas, which I'm a member of. We actually host a few events, and actually, there's one coming up October 25th, which is the third annual Las Vegas Barbecue Festival,
Hmm.
and that's a huge event. That's going to be at Red Rock Harley Davidson. That's a lot of local teams, teams from California, Arizona, Nevada. That's a great event. It's all for charity. Um, and they basically just compete in chicken, ribs, and basically a side, like a people's choice on the side. But my daughter helps out. We also do one that's called Barbecue Games here in Nevada, which is a bracket style, which is like March Madness. You guys would love this. So we have our monthly meetings, and what they do is you have a bracket, and you're competing against other cooks from other barbecue teams on a category. We have a list of all the meats that are available for your competition. You agree on it with who you're competing with. Last month, I competed in the meatloaf category, and I won with I did a stuffed, like a Philly cheesesteak meatloaf. So I basically stuffed it with all the goodies that you would have in a
Uh-huh.
Philly cheesesteak, and then I actually made a almost like my own cheese whiz glaze on top of the meatloaf, which came out phenomenal. It was really good.
That sounds like something Netflix should pick up. Barbecue
It's
games.
so much fun. It's so much fun. Actually, we have our next barbecue games is coming up Wednesday. Um, Categories are like soup, hot dog, potato. I can't remember the other ones, but yeah, it's a great time, and all the members show up, and everybody gets to eat and interact, and it's all held at Premier Barbecue and Fire, which is the largest barbecue supplier out here in Las Vegas. John and his wife Shay are excellent. They give a lot of sponsorship to local barbecue teams, give a lot of discounts to the Nevada barbecue members, really help us out, et cetera. So it's really nice having that support from them.
So the barbecue scene in Vegas sounds like it's not only strong but getting stronger.
It's getting definitely stronger, absolutely. Um, and that's because why not us? I mean, we're the entertainment capital of the world now, and barbecue used to be here. That's the crazy thing. There used to be huge barbecue events out in Las Vegas, and then for whatever reason, they just kind of dissipated and went away. But that's the beauty of the Nevada Barbecue Association is you're getting so many competition cooks that compete on a national level. In fact, one of our local teams, which is his name is Steve O's Barbecue, he just competed in the Jack this past weekend.
Hmm.
So we had representation there. And then we had a couple of other teams, Big Juicy and Rack City. Both of those guys were out there at the Jack too, helping the teams. So we're getting a lot of exposure at these events. It's really exciting.
Excellent. Who is on? You mentioned your dad. Who else is on your team besides you, your dad, and
My
your daughter?
wife,
Your
yeah,
wife?
my wife, yeah, and then whatever friend wants to come along for the ride. That's the
Okay.
hard part. So the thing for me is, and being that I compete in barbecue, I don't compete at barbecue like a lot of the guys do, where man, they're out there every weekend, every other weekend. I have a full time job like that. I can't travel as much as I'd like to. Um, I don't own a restaurant. I don't own a catering company. I simply do it because I love barbecue. It's a hobby for me. It's a stress reliever. I love to compete. Competing is fun, and I'm just out there to have a good time. To be honest with you, I don't take
Hmm.
it serious like some guys really take it serious. You know what I mean? And that's fine, and that's what they do. That's their brand. That's part of their thing. I mainly do it for the friendship and just the enjoyment of eating great food and being around great people and just seeing what we can come up with. So yeah,
Now, Kevin, the I kind of imagine it. It's sort of like in New York. We don't have a specific style in New York. Where you have South Carolina, North
sure.
Carolina, Texas. Um, wherever. All these
Yeah, Kansas
particular
City style, Texas
Kansas
style.
City, right? Of course. And so New York has it's kind of eclectic. It takes from here, takes from there. Korean style is very big here and different
Sure.
things like that. What about in Vegas? What kind of is it the same kind of thing?
Yeah, are you talking more the barbecue restaurants here or the what the competitors are doing?
Well, the competitors have to do a specific style because it's
Sure.
KCBS, but
Yeah.
the but yeah, I guess the barbecue restaurants.
So it's a mix, and it seems like a lot of the barbecue restaurants here are trying to be more chef driven, and so that's what I call fancy barbecue. Um, and I'm not a fan, right? Like I like old school, like, hey, take me to Dallas or Austin, and I'm gonna go to Terry Black's barbecue or Franklin or Goldie's. That's what I like, you know. So I'm more of a Texas barbecue. Um, I like post oak, I like salt and pepper. I don't like to sauce things up. Um, but then again, sometimes I do like, like in Nashville, like I do like that style of barbecue. Out here in Vegas, we do have some good representation in a few restaurants, but there's nothing set in stone. Like Vegas isn't known for any specific type of barbecue other than probably your fancy barbecue. Chef Michael Simon had a place in the Palms Casino called Mabel's Fancy Barbecue. You have another celebrity chef who has a place in the Arts District, which is called Soul Belly. It's not necessarily fancy barbecue. It's just really expensive barbecue and you don't for the price you don't really get your money's worth because portions are so small, and I think that's where you get the touristy type of knowing that it's Vegas and you're going to get that tourist clientele. It's a way different experience. So when I have friends coming to town, I take them where I'm going, right? I do support local business, and I'm going to support our friends at Jesse Ray's Barbecue, or I'm going to support our friends down in Boulder City at Fox's Barbecue. That's just because those are people who also have competed in the same barbecue competitions I compete in. So if I have friends that come to town and they want barbecue, well, I'm going to support their restaurants, rather than what's on the strip or what's outside the strip.
Right. Now, as a cook, let's say as a backyard cook,
Hmm.
here I have readily it's available to me readily with pork ribs, brisket, beef ribs, but like something like tri-tip.
Yeah,
I can get it, but it's not something I'm just going to the grocery store and getting, or,
sure,
I've got to make an effort to get that. Um, but the basics I have
sure.
in Vegas and the woods, basically, you can get pretty much all of the different types of woods. Is it the same in Vegas, or is there specific items that are more readily available to you than others?
You can get anything here, and but you can get tri-tip here, and you can get it for a great price. In fact, before I jumped on this Zoom, I was trimming a tri-tip and seasoning it for tonight. That I'm gonna cook it hot and fast on my grill for the Bears game. So it's funny. I'm actually having that for dinner tonight. Yeah, I mean, you can get tri-tip on sale at your local market for $5.99 a pound. Now, mind you, it's a choice grade, but it's Monday night, right? Like if I was doing something a little bit more higher end, you can go to any Costco or Sam's Club, and you can get prime tri-tip um, with no issues at all. In fact, they're actually carrying some American Wagyu tri-tip now as well at Costco. I actually tease my buddy in Nashville because whenever they have all the good meat selections at Costco, I film them and I text it to him. He's like, "Man, my Costco never has stuff like that. Like especially like what people call the dino rib, which is actually a plate rib. It's a plate beef rib, which is a giant beef rib. So I
Right.
can get those at Costco. Like everyone's like, where do you get those from? You just got to be friends with the butcher, right? Like you just got to talk to the butcher and know how to ask for it. They don't necessarily put that out because nobody is buying a 12-pound slab of, they come in 2 packs. So you get 3 giant ribs in each pack. Like nobody's buying that, at $12.99 a pound or whatever it is. So they cut them up into short ribs, right? You ever see them at the supermarket? You're like, they're like 3 little short ribs cut in half, or then
Right.
they do them like
Mhm.
Korean style, where they'll do them Kalibi style. They'll cut them the opposite way.
Right.
So they definitely have it. You just got to ask the butcher for it. But for competitions, it's funny. I don't get a lot of the great like farm products that I like. Like for pork, I like a company or a farm that's called Prairie Fresh. You may have heard of them.
Hmm.
Yes.
And Prairie Fresh doesn't, they don't distribute to Nevada, in Southern Nevada, but they do to Utah. And St. George, Utah is 2 hours away from me. And my sister-in-law happens to live in St. George, Utah. So kill 2 birds with one stone, go visit the family and the cousins, and I can go to the Lynn's Market and pick up prime grade Prairie Fresh, which they have natural and they also have a prime grade. And I usually buy their pork shoulders and their St. Louis ribs from there.
You, I'm looking at your Instagram and you mentioned diner ribs, and I see you have a,
Oh
a
yeah,
video here cooking the diner rib that was just a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, I guess,
yeah, yeah.
and they look fabulous. Could you tell us
Thank you.
how you cook that and what are you cooking it on?
Sure. Yeah. So shout out my smokers. I use Green Mountain Grills for pellet grills, but for my actual competition smokers, I'm using the Hunsaker smoker, similar to Christy at Grills from Grill. It's Mark and Ryan Hunsaker. They're the ones. They're a father son team that does barrel smokers, similar to the Gateway smokers, which are pretty popular on the barbecue scene. Um, USA made, just fantastic customer service, 50-gallon drums, hot and fast, baby. Set it
Hmm.
and hold it. So I cook everything at 300. I
Hmm.
don't care if it's a brisket. I don't care if it's ribs, chicken. Well, chicken, I go a little bit hotter to get the skin crispy. Um, but I go the hot and fast approach. And it's funny. I learned the hot and fast approach. This is a little side story here. Years ago, I helped my buddy's team in Nashville compete at the Smithfield Classic, and we took fourth place in ribs. And that's where I really got hooked on competing in barbecue, was competing with his team. Well, after we did that, his wife surprised him with a barbecue school class for him and a friend, which he
Hmm.
invited me to. And
Nice.
we went to Myron Mixon's
Ah,
school in Unadilla, Georgia. And it
nice.
was at his compound, at his house for 3 days. And boy, oh boy, that was an experience.
Wow.
And he was hilarious. He's like hot and fast, hot and fast. Like all these guys sitting out there, man, in the fire pits for 12, 16 hours, like making fun of him. He's like, I'm sleeping, like, and I'm like, dang, I never thought about that. And especially in KCBS, because you're injecting and you're basting, you're doing all these things. You don't need to go low and slow in a KCBS event.
Hmm.
And back then, when I first started competitions, I had a 250-gallon smoker on a trailer. And my dad and I would manage that fire every 30 minutes. You're throwing wood on the fire. It was just so much work and so draining. And then when you buy something like a Hunsaker, you're like you're not even firing the pit until like 5:30 in the morning on a competition day,
Hmm.
or 6 in the morning. So yeah, it's definitely made my life a lot easier. And it's crazy how many people have actually gone to the drums, smokers in competitions.
So on these diner ribs, what did you use the seasonings in?
Oh, so I actually used, yeah. So I actually really enjoy Terry Black's from Texas. His
Mhm.
beef rub is awesome. It's a great blend. Now you could make your own blends. Obviously, it's really simple, but when you can buy a great beef rib for $9.99, it's already ready, and it's like the right amount of coarse pepper, right amount of coarse salt, and just
Hmm.
all the other spices he has in there. It's a great flavor, and I've been using that a lot. I've been even using the beef rub on my ribs lately too, even though he has a pork rub. But I'm really liking the bark I'm getting with the beef rub, and I'm really, I don't know, just something about it. And I think I'm going to do that in the next competition at Barbecue Jackpot. I think I'm going to use the beef rub on the pork ribs
Okay.
instead of using the pork rub on the pork ribs.
And one last one before I hand it back to Leonard.
Yeah.
What kind of charcoal are you using?
So I use a lot of B&B.
B&B.
So
Okay.
B&B charcoal. I use their lump charcoal. Sometimes I'll use the cowboy charcoal, which is the same company. I believe it's the same company. It's just a different brand from the company. But yeah, B&B. And then for wood, there's a local purveyor here in Vegas that I can get wood from. I usually get post oak. And then for flavors, wood, I'm usually using for pork. I'm using, apple, pecan, And then for my ribs, I'm usually using like a cherry, and sometimes I'll use a cherry for the brisket too, but I've been using pecan on brisket lately as well.
While you guys were talking, I was looking up quickly because sometimes I get things confused. But you mentioned Prairie Fresh. Jeff, isn't that Hunter Bashir's company,
I think
Prairie
so.
Fresh?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. So we actually had someone on the show who is one of their forget what he's a big honcho at Prairie Fresh. I'm
That's cool.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
maybe you guys can convince him to ship to Vegas.
Ex- exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Save
We
me
have to
some
let him.
gas money.
We we have to let him know that there's a a vacant space that they're missing.
Well, the funny thing is the Nevada Barbecue Association, which, we have a couple hundred members. Whoever's driving to St. George, Utah will literally send out like a group text to everybody. I'm headed to St. George. Do you guys need any pork? And like, because a lot of the guys cook with it.
Right,
And so we'll buy them out. We'll go to, they carry it at a store called Lynn's, Lins. And then there's another market. It's called Bagby Market or something like that. I can't remember the name. Some other off market. It's not like a Kroger or Albertsons or Vons or anything like that. And yeah, we just buy them up and throw them in the freezer in the garage, until competition comes around. But it's funny. I was in
now,
Idaho too. There's a ton of Snake River Farms. Like in every supermarket you go to, you can
right.
get Snake River Farms, tri-tips, briskets, everything you can think of. And it's significantly cheaper than buying from their website, you know? So if I lived in Idaho, I'd be in big trouble.
When they have these competitions in Vegas, are they like in a big parking lot at one of the
Huge, yeah.
hotels?
Yeah, so this one is in the Silverton parking lot, which shares the same parking lot as the Bass Pro Shops. And the Silverton's a great hotel. They just did an expansion recently. It's more of a woodsy, lodgy type of feel theme to it. But yeah, they have a huge parking lot, and in the parking lot is also a Cracker Barrel. So if you're looking for some breakfast, you can go in there and get some biscuits and gravy.
And they have overnight. Everyone's staying overnight.
Most people stay overnight. They have their trailers they sleep in. I will stay overnight. I will not be having a trailer with me. I'll most likely be getting a room at the one of the hotels right there for my daughter, and my
Right.
wife and so forth like that. Plus, it's nice to really go in there and shower because, as you can imagine, the smell of barbecue all over your hair and skin,
Right.
Hmm.
Friday going into Saturday is pretty rough.
Oh yeah, yeah. You. I mean, I love the smell, but
Yeah.
you start to smell like a
Oh,
campfire.
oh, you smell like campfire, and then when you blow your nose, it's like you look in there, it's like it's black, you know. But I like to stay overnight too, hang out with people, talk. It's like it's like camping. It's like camping and tailgating mixed into one, you know. And I like to cook a lot. I'm not just cooking competition stuff. I'm like cooking stuff on the side for my friends and family that are there,
Right.
just for fun. We're doing hot links and sausages, and we'll do some rib tips and some pork belly burn ends, which are a big hit.
Now, how long have you might have said this before, and I told you I was looking something up, but how long have you been uh, in competitive barbecue?
So I started competing. My first competition was in 2020,
Okay.
and my first competition here in Nevada was 2021.
Hmm.
So I competed outside of Nevada first. I had been in uh, competition cooking before, not barbecue, just like from restaurant stuff that I did. And but man, I just got hooked, And if I had a zillion dollars, I'd be doing it a lot more. And I'd probably
Right.
quit my day job, to be honest with you,
If you had a
because I
zillion
just
dollars, you
love it.
might quit your
Yeah,
day job.
yeah, and I'd still do it. Yeah, like I just love it, and I wish I could be one of the, and maybe one day I will. One of those guys who travels from competition to competition with their trailer, and it's kind of cool to hear it from. We have the big players out there, and they're big
Right.
players, but the majority of the people that are competing are guys like me, you know, somebody who
Right.
who did it in the backyard first, and then somehow weaseled their way into the barbecue scene, into the barbecue competitive world. Like I don't ever go in. I mean, obviously you hope to walk, right? And you hope to win. But
Right.
honestly, I'm just really doing it for fun, for
Right.
myself. And if I win, great. If I don't, it's okay. I
Hmm.
had fun.
Yep.
That's the main thing. It's got to be fun.
Yep. Yep.
Now, if you want to compete in other states, how what would be the closest competition out of state that you would
Yep.
go to?
So that would be Slabo-Rama in that's going to be Bullhead City, Arizona. It's about an hour and a half drive from Vegas, and that's an annual event. It's a pretty big event, and that's in January of every year.
That's not bad. An
Yeah,
hour and
yeah.
a half away,
No,
right?
no.
Utah events are close too. Those have come and gone as well. There was a few more, and they haven't been doing it as many as they used to. Um, the problem with the KCBS is they got to. I believe they have to have a minimum of 25 teams. So when you go to these smaller states or these smaller cities, it's hard for them to get 25 teams to commit to it.
Hmm.
And it's not as big on the West Coast as it is everywhere else, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and if I'm being frank, I compete in KCBS. I don't necessarily like KCBS. Nothing against them. It's just I've cooked some amazing food, and I've had people tell me it's amazing. And you look at your scorecard, and you're like, "Did you eat the same thing I made?" Some of the comment cards are just like brutal. And like I'll go into a competition like, what did I cook the best? Oh, I nailed the ribs. Oh, I nailed the brisket. I don't think I did very well in the chicken. And then you get all your results, and you turn out that you did chicken the best. And
Hmm.
then everything else is
You
like,
never know, right?
yeah, it's like, wow, I thought I killed chicken. Like I was in the first annual or the inaugural Las Vegas Barbecue Festival. I took first place chicken and second place ribs. And I was just sitting there, and I was looking on my phone when they're doing the calls, and I didn't even think I was gonna win. I'm just like, whatever, just do it. And then I remember they called my name for second place ribs, and then my dad was right there. He goes, "You did it, Kevin! You did it!" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You did it!" I'm like, that was my first call that I ever had, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" And then I'm celebrating the second place ribs, and I had my daughter with the trophy and so forth like that. And next thing you know, I get called for first place chicken. That was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, because then once I got two calls like that at one event, I was like, dude, I got to do this all the time. This is
Right.
great. Who cares about this fun stuff? Let's compete. Right.
Well, if you got first in chicken and second in ribs,
Yeah.
how'd you finish out the competition?
So the Las Vegas Barbecue Festival is only those two categories. It's not a KCBS event.
Oh, okay.
So
I got
had there been a grand champion at that
right.
event, that I would have won the grand champion,
Yeah, I
because
would
there
have
was a
thought so.
yeah, yeah. They just recently started doing the grand champion. Actually, I think this is the first year that there'll be a grand champion. Um, and one of the subcategories at the Las Vegas Barbecue Festival, it's called Anything Girls Can Grill. So Christie's has her own rub now.
Right.
You have to make a dish using her rub, and you have to describe it. So it could be anything. It doesn't have to be any. I believe it just can't be a dessert.
That sounds like we have to get Christy back on then.
Yeah. She was just a judge at the Jack this past
Right.
weekend. She
Yeah,
was judging it. Yeah.
yeah. And the Las Vegas Barbecue Jackpot event is just a week or two after the American Royale.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if any team from the American Royale is going to go over to Vegas and
Oh,
compete in
I'm
that one.
sure. I'm sure. I mean,
Uh,
when you get 95 teams, I mean the prizes are greater. Plus, everyone wants a reason and an excuse to go to Vegas.
of course, of
You know,
course.
Yeah.
figure it
Yeah.
out.
It's kind of ironic. We've been doing this show 8 years, and in a couple of weeks we're gonna be interviewing Tom and Natalie Painter, and they invented the briner, which I see on your webpage,
Oh
on your
yeah, I got it.
Instagram or Facebook
Yeah,
page, and there's a big briner here. I haven't heard it before a couple weeks ago. Now we're interviewing
yeah.
them. Tell us about this briner. I
It's
guess you use it.
awesome.
Is
I
it
use it all the time.
okay?
So originally I bought it for turkey brining,
Uh-huh.
for Thanksgiving. And shame plug for Premier Barbecue and Fire here in Las Vegas. You can buy them there.
Hmm.
They have them in different sizes now, but it's great. So you put it in there, and it's all food grade. You put your brine in there, whatever aromatics you're doing, and then there's this little plastic little, once you add your water and ice, whatever you're adding,
Hmm.
basically goes and locks it. Because what happens is in
Right.
a normal bucket, everything floats to the top,
Right.
right? So this keeps it down and compact. It basically locks everything down. So I use it mainly for come Thanksgiving, I'll brine my turkeys in it, but at competitions I use it to brine my chicken.
Yeah, it's a
So
very easy concept. I was looking at it. It's one of those why didn't I think of that kind of
yeah,
things, you
it's
know?
great. And I've actually had people at competitions ask me, "Hey, like, what is that? Where'd you get that?" You know, and so I think I've actually sold some, not literally, but just
Uh-huh.
showing people, and then they buy it.
Yeah. And it comes in different sizes, which is good
Yeah,
because like you mentioned, the turkey one, you have to because you got to keep it in your refrigerator or something. You got to
yeah,
have room for it. And they come in I think
5 gallon.
there's the
Yeah,
chicken size and I mean yeah, it's definitely other sizes and yeah, like Jeff said, we're gonna have them on the show.
very
Uh,
cool.
yeah, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
That's
let them know that I
interesting.
use their product.
I
We
will. We will.
Uh,
will name drop.
Yeah.
yeah, the 5 gallon is what I use, and I have a fridge specifically for that. I just pull all the racks out and just put it right in the fridge. But
Right.
if you're in the East Coast that time of year, if it's already cold outside, just put it outside.
And you could put it. I guess you could put it. I'm trying to think of how you could surround it with ice. You could do something where put it in a big tub.
Yeah, like a bucket, like you would a keg of beer at a old
Right.
college party.
Right. Fill that with ice. Yeah. I mean, how
Instead of
how
doing keg stands, you'll do briner stands.
briner sands. How long does like a turkey? How
Yeah.
long would you brine a turkey for?
So me, I only brine stuff. So a turkey, I only brine for 12 hours. I feel like that if you brine it
Okay.
more, it can kind of get a little rubbery. The
Hmm.
important thing that people forget, number one step I feel like people miss out on a brine is they forget to rinse it. You gotta rinse it. You gotta rinse all that brine off of it once you pull it out. It will be too salty if you don't do that.
Mhm.
You risk it being very salty because you're gonna most likely add a rub on top of that once you've brined it. If you leave all that existing brine on there, it's gonna be super salty. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
You know,
And
I
what I do is instead of water, I use chicken broth.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I also see you
that's a
using one of
pro
our
tip.
friends' rubs, also Michael Starr's Blazing Star. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Actually, I can't get it. It's on my wall right now. But I took second place in anything Blazing Star barbecue in the Las Vegas Barbecue Festival last year. I did pork belly burn ends using his pork rub and using one of his barbecue sauces as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's doing big things. He's everywhere now. He's in Home Depot. He's doing Ace Hardwares. He's doing demos. He's doing great things. Really nice guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I support a lot of the guys' products. Like right now I'm using a lot of Heath Riles stuff for
Okay.
rubs.
Right.
Um, Everybody kind of like I would say like the backyard cooks. Most of those guys are using Meat Church, because of the branding, and
Hmm.
he's
Right.
everywhere. You can get Meat Church anywhere, and he did some really good marketing and branding. Matt Pittman did, and they have good products. They do have good seasonings. I'm using their Blanco rub actually for my everyday cooking at home. It's similar to a seasoned salt, like a Lowry seasoned salt, and I've been or a SPG, but really fine grade. It's called the Blanco. I like that one. But I use Heath Riles now for my steaks. I'm using Carnivore,
Uh-huh.
Right.
Jess
Right.
Pryles,
Just Piles.
Carnivore
Yep.
Black.
Yeah.
Yep. Or her Carnivore Red is awesome. If you haven't had Carnivore Red, throw that on some chicken and you'll love it. It's fantastic. Um, my spice cabinet is just unreal. I'd probably get.
Well, I got a couple of rubs to recommend for you,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
I'd love to try them.
that's
My
Doug Scheiding's rubs. I'll
okay.
send you the link. He has some
Send me a link.
three great rubs. Brisket rub. What's the other one? Len was dust.
Doug's dust,
The Doug's
which is a
dust.
finishing dust.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I love the
Finishing.
dust.
and
Yeah.
then he has an all purpose. It's really terrific.
Yeah, send me a link. I'll
Yeah.
definitely order some up. I would
Hmm.
say like whenever I go to a barbecue store, like it's the equivalent of my wife going to Hobby Lobby before Christmas,
Hmm.
right? Just coming home with bags full of stuff, just like, don't we have enough Christmas decorations? And she says to me, don't you have enough barbecue seasonings?
Oh yeah. Oh, you can only imagine
Yeah,
what Jeff and my pantries look
Yes.
like with
yeah. But you have your
with
go-tos, right? Like the
Yeah.
ones that you're
Of
constantly
course.
yes,
using.
Yes.
You know who's actually
yes.
got some really good products that are really accessible and they're really cheap? Is Kinder's. Kinder's actually has some pretty good product out there, not only on the rubs but the sauces. They
Uh,
have a new Kinder's has a new sticky honey barbecue rub. That's really, or no, I'm sorry, sticky honey barbecue sauce that they sell at Costco. Huge bottle for like $6, and
Really?
it's really good. It's a really good sauce, and I like their honey hot sauce too, or their honey hot barbecue from Kinder's is really good. I'm
Yeah.
not one of those haters too. You ever see that on like social media, like where somebody
Oh
will
yeah.
post something that they like, and then
Hmm.
you just go in there and the keyboard warriors are hating on every product. Look,
Hmm.
Right.
everybody likes Sweet Baby Ray's. Okay, every like that's like a national like staple
I
for
know it
any
is
barbecue.
amazing.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like
Yes.
it's gonna be there. Stubbs, like Stubbs is
Hmm.
great. You can't tell me that Stubbs barbecue sauce isn't good. Like all the different variations they have, they're all
Right.
fantastic. Like I support them all. It's like pizza. Like I like well for you guys it's different, right? Because like pizza's like real New York pizza,
That's
John's
right.
of
That's our.
Bleecker and places
Yeah.
like that. Like
That's the holy grail
Let's
in
not
New
get into
right,
York.
let's not get into Chicago, New York pizza, okay?
yeah, yeah.
That's
But I don't. It's like no, what I mean by it is like I like all styles of pizza. I like New York pizza. I like
Right.
tavern style pizza. I like deep dish pizza, even though it's a tourist pizza. But if I'm in Chicago, yeah, I'm going to Lou Malnati's. Sorry, I am. That's where I'm going.
Well, we're also going to recommend as far as sauces. We have a friend. You may have heard of him, Chef Ray. He used to be Barbecue Buddha, and
Okay.
now he's Chef Ray. He also on his website he has a couple of sauces that he's won multiple awards with. So um, it
Yeah.
also there's so much out there. There really
Yeah.
is.
And
It's
and
yeah.
you, and it's interesting because most of the guys on the barbecue scene, they say if you're not using Blues Hog, then you ain't winning, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it's like everybody is using Blues Hog some way, shape, or form, but they're doctoring it up their way. But
Right.
they're using it as a base, right? And I've done it. I've used their competition blend. I've used their raspberry chipotle one, their Tennessee Red. I've used those products, and I doctor them up. You have to because the thing with KCBS, they like everything sweet. They want it sweet,
Yes. Right.
and that's hard for me because I don't like my barbecue sweet, right? So as a cook, it becomes difficult, like for me to change the way I would cook it at home or for a party with my friends. I'm cooking it for them versus like cooking it how I like to cook it. So I much prefer backyard barbecue versus like competition barbecue as far as flavor profile is concerned. But it is what it is. That's what makes you, a competitor, right? You have to adapt to your competition and what they want, so.
Now tell us about your 4-year-old because
Mhm.
uh, it's interesting because I always wonder about the next generation. A lot of the competitive cooks were competitive cooks because of pit masters,
Sure.
barbecue pit masters, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder about the next generation of cooks. Are they going to follow in their parents'
Yeah.
footsteps? And obviously, your 4-year-old daughter is definitely following in your footsteps. So, and you, as a parent, that's wonderful that you are encouraging your 4-year-old. I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing. 4 years old, and already you've got a pit master in training.
Yeah. Yeah. Her name is Charlie Rose. She is so precious. And, my beautiful wife, Amanda, is so supportive of me doing my hobby and doing this. And she loves seeing Charlie just so curious. And that's the thing, is like she's engaged. She wants to know, she wants to help. It's so funny. She calls everything pig. Is that pig, Daddy? Is that pig? Because she likes to eat pig, like,
Right.
but it is what it is. And I think the important thing is um, I I've had friends, and this is a baseball thing. I've had friends that push their kids in baseball, club ball, travel ball, all of this, like pushing so much money into it. And then the kids fall out of love with it because they did it too much, or they get hurt because they're playing too much. They're not allowing their arm to rest.
Right.
All these things. I take a different approach because I'm older. I'm 47 with a 4-year old. I'm gonna let her do what she decides to do, but I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna introduce it to her. I'm gonna have her around it. And if she decides that she wants to do it or she's interested in it, then I'm gonna support it. I'm never gonna make her do it, right? And I'm not
Right.
gonna like groom her to be in the barbecue thing. But what's beneficial for me is with the Nevada Barbecue Association, the fact that they have a special category at all of our events that's called the Kids Queue, and even Best Damn Barbecue, which is in Boulder City, every year, which is a KCBS event, has a Kids Q event the night before the KCBS event. She is now hanging around these other kids. And you know what's funny? It's a lot of girls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls that are competing. So, it's not ballet, it's not gymnastics. Okay. If she wants to do those things, that's fine. But she's really interested. When we're in the kitchen, she climbs up her little stool. She wants to cut things she has her own little cutting board and a safe cutting knife,
Right.
She wants to cut things. My wife, this is a side note, the shameless plug, Rosie Doe 444 on TikTok. Uh, she's a sourdough bread baker. So she does sourdough bread and cookies. So that's her thing. And she helps. So between me and my wife, I'm doing barbecue and my wife is doing the sourdough. And Charlie Rose gets to do a little bit of both. So it's really fun for her. And then even she was telling one of the teachers, we picked her up at school one day, and the teacher goes, I didn't know your wife was a baker. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I thought she worked in the medical field. I go, she does. Oh, Charlie says that she, she's a baker and all she does is bake bread. I'm like, no, she does that as a hobby as well, which is somehow turned into a business, and
Right.
which is so crazy to think about, but
Well,
it's
well,
fun.
that explains the picture on your Instagram. I'm in my wife's sourdough era.
Yeah.
That's what you have
So
there.
that's a funny chat GPT thing I came up with.
Okay.
So she sent me a shirt that said, a sweatshirt that says, I'm in my sourdough era,
Right.
which they sell at Target. So
Okay.
we go to Target, we buy that sweatshirt, and she's telling everyone about it. So then I go to ChatGPT and I go, make me a sweatshirt that says, I'm in my wife's, eating my wife's sourdough bread era. Because literally, since she started making sourdough and cookies and all those things, I'm up 10 pounds.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's her,
I'm sure
it's
she
her
has her
goal.
own starter, right? She has her own
Yeah,
starter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she has two of them. She has the original one
Hmm.
that she got from a lady on the TikTok shop. It was really popular. It's a dehydrated starter that she got, and she fed it and she built it up. Had great success with that, and then she started her own. So she has two variations.
Right.
And the interesting thing is, her starter is actually better than the one that she bought.
Hmm.
So she's been doing a lot of the research and trial and error. It's like anything. You have to do it. And that's what I love about barbecue is, and I told this, I was on a game show out here in Vegas, which was on Game Show Network. It was hosted by Alfonso Ribeiro and from Fresh Prince of Bel Air,
Yep.
Carlton.
Yep.
And the show was called Catch 21.
Catch 21. Yeah, I
And
remember that.
and he interviews me and he was talking about, oh, you're into barbecue, and then he was asking me questions about barbecue, and I was like, he's like, why do you like barbecue? Well, like, barbecue's a science. And the cool thing about barbecue is there's really no rules. There's some rules, like there's basics that we know,
Hmm.
but there's really no rules. You can do whatever you want to do, and you're not wrong for doing it, right? To each your own. And I kind of like that freedom, and I love that. Now, if you try to bake a cake, right, and you try to have that same freedom on baking a cake,
No,
you're probably
no,
not
no,
going to
no,
get a
no.
very good cake.
No.
No, no. Cake. That's baking. That's why baking is there.
Is exact
Baking is a
science.
science and it's an exact
Yeah,
science.
Yes.
And yeah,
exact
if you're,
science.
yeah, yeah. The
Same with the
how'd you
dough
do
on the
on
pizza. Yeah, go ahead.
how'd you do on the game show?
Oh, I won that one. Yeah, I won that game show. I didn't win the big prize. I won $2,500, but I was going for 25,000. I won that one. I've been on Let's Make a Deal. My wife and I were on that one before we got married. We won
Uh,
Oh,
that one.
okay.
We won that show. When I was younger, I was on Price is Right. I got called down,
oh,
Really?
and
Did you?
yeah,
How'd you do?
I didn't get to the stage. I was the last one they called down. So
uh,
on the bid, I only got to bid on one item.
right.
One
So that was
item.
kind of
Yeah,
a disappointment.
yeah. The
Yeah,
ones
that
that
was
get to go in the beginning of
yeah.
Price is Right,
But
they have the most chances,
oh
obviously.
yeah, yeah. But that was great. That was Bob Barker days. That was when I was 18 years old. But fun fact: when I was 18, I was a big theater guy in high school, drama. I was on an improv troupe out of high school. I got into radio. I was working for Kiss FM in Los Angeles, 102.7. Started as an intern there, became a board operator, and then I actually started working in sports radio
Oh,
with KMAX. Yeah, KMAX, and I was working with guys like Duncan Corian and back to Big Joe and Hacksaw Hamilton, and out here in Vegas we have a couple of the guys I worked with, and that was fun. And I did stand-up comedy for a little bit
Oh,
as a side
wow.
thing.
Yeah, sounds like a great
Not
life you've
not
been
not
having
as a
so
career,
far.
but just like stuff that I was doing.
Right.
I was trying
Yeah.
to find myself.
Yeah.
And like a side thing. So I've always been one of those extroverted people who's trying to just have fun and be around people, make people laugh, and have a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
He sounds,
Kevin,
what, Jeff, I was just going to say, he sounds like me, the whole,
yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
other than the fact that he's got a nice set of pipes and I sound like, a typical
New
Long
Yorker.
Island
New Yorker,
New
yes.
Yes.
Yorker, but
Well, it comes from home, right? Like I had the support of my father.
mhm,
He was from day one. He said, "Do whatever you want as long as you're happy." And
right.
so I kicked him out of the house.
Hmm.
There's the comedy.
But I'm bump.
A little late there,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
You
But
know,
then it
and
was funny because he took me to a Bob Zaney show, and I was underage. You know who Bob Zaney is?
I heard of him, yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, he's a big comedian out of Chicago, and I got it was a 18 and over show. I was like 16. They didn't card me or anything. I go to my first Bob Zaney show, and it was like that was a lot for me because he was very vulgar at 16, and seeing it live and just seeing that I kind of fell in love with that. But I was watching comedy ever since I was a kid, just with my dad. It was like it's what we did,
Yeah.
so
Kevin, it's been great talking to you. It's been really fun. Thank you for coming on Baseball and BBQ.
yeah,
We wish you the best of luck on this competition coming up, and tell us where anybody can follow you or
sure.
get in touch with you.
Yeah, as you mentioned, on Instagram, I can be found at GenerationQ Las Vegas. That's the same handle on Facebook, GenerationQ Las Vegas. I have some fun videos on TikTok. It's generation.q.barbecue, and you can follow me there. And yeah, I love engagement and meeting new people, and happy to share any videos or insights, or if you never need any pointers from a backyard guy, I'd be happy to help you out. Or if you're ever
Uh,
in Vegas, hit me up.
Vegas, baby. Now, if you see Chrissy over there, just tell us the guy from Baseball and BBQ say hello.
I will. I will. I'll probably see her soon for sure.
Uh,
She's actually doing a class. She's doing a barbecue class coming up at Premier Barbecue and Fire. I don't know if it's this month or next month. So yeah, I'll see her one of these days.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck to you.
Hey, take care, guys.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
Kevin.
Bye.
Oh, well, hold on. Cancel that. Hit the wrong button.